To create a virtual machine, simply click on left side on your computer. Within the Hyper-V Manager, click on New Virtual Machine. This will give the wizard. Within this, you can type here as Windows 11 and choose the folder name properly. So in my case, I wanted to keep all the Windows 11 virtual machine specific hard disk and the configuration files into a folder structure so that it makes help me in case if I want to delete it, I can simply delete the folder as well as a virtual machine easily. So this makes very helpful for the cleanup. So don't just go for the default options. Instead, choose a folder name where you're going to store it and then click on next and make sure that you choose the generation 2 because this is where the UEFI and the secure boot and TPM, all of that options can be enabled if you choose the generation 2. So for Windows 11, make sure you choose the generation 2 and startup memory. So this is a minimum RAM that you wanted to give it. So in my case, I have a virtual machine running with more than 32 GB. So I'm just offering for this virtual machine 8 GB out of 32 GB of my physical memory. So in case if you're having a low in the memory, then choose according to your available memory. And then click on next and configuring networking. This is where you have to choose whether you want to choose the default switch or you could actually create here virtual switch manager. So in my case, I have created here virtual machine manager, two different network cards. One would be the external, meaning it actually uses my physical network card, and if that physical network card is connected to the internet, it just connects to the internet. And internal is it's not connected to the anywhere. It's just the within that virtual machines network card only. So in case if you're running with Windows 10 default Hyper-V installation, you might be seeing only default switch, meaning the current network card will be a NATed. Network address translation would be configured automatically so that you get the internet by default. So choose the required one. So in my case, I'm choosing external, meaning this virtual machine gets connected to internet. If you don't see any of these, you could also choose the default switch to get the internet. Okay, click on external in my case, and then this is where again where your hard disk to be stored. So if you see here, it's going to store within this location Windows 11. This is where it's going to store. So in case if you do not want additional folders, simply take out one folder so that everything gets stored into Windows 11. But if you would like to, if you're okay to have a multiple folders, make sure that you know where you're storing Windows hard disk. So in this case, it's a VHDX. Click on next, and then it's going to ask for the installation media. So in my case, I've stored everything here. So I'll just show up this Windows 11 media, which is a January update. So if you're running with the latest media, you might have a different media name, but you could actually get it this media directly from Evolution Center in case if you just want to try it. And post to that, click on finish. This is gonna create the virtual machine every configuration. Now the most important point would be just right click on newly created Windows 11 machine and go to the settings and click on security and make sure that you take the enable TPM. So if you enable this later point, it doesn't work. So make sure you enable the TPM now. So this is going to be TPM 2.0 chip gets installed or will be enabled on the machine, and don't change anything here. Just enable shade TPM. That's a TPM chip, so it's not the shade one. Direct TPM is enabled. In case if you want to assign more processors, you could always do that, and you can adjust the memory, and you could see where this hard disk is getting stored. And if you want to change the media, you could do it, and the network card. All of that stuff can be edited directly from here. So in my case, I'm not going to do any additional changes other than the TPM enabling and the processors to give the more power to this virtual machine. And click on apply. OK. and right click to the virtual machine, connect and start. This is going to start the virtual machine. I'm just maximizing here. So if I press any key, it's going to start the Windows installation. So when it starts the installation, when we press the button, any key, it actually starts the installation. And this is a normal screen where you can choose the language of the media. If you have a multiple versions and the time zone, all of that, you could actually do it from here. And then click on next. Click on install now to start the installation. And this will bring up a new window with all the editions that are available within this media. So in our case, we have a multiple media. I mean, this is a one media. That means one DVD, which consists of multiple editions. So in our case, we have education edition, enterprise, professional, and within the professional, you have multiple other series like an education for workstation. All of that we have. Now the question comes here, very important this. I might be stretching here to tell this specific thing. Let's say if you have chosen as enterprise, you would definitely get all the benefits of enterprise. But the thing is, this doesn't support online personal accounts, meaning this edition is designed for companies. So you must have to use only company account or local account, but not as your Microsoft account. Let's say I own my for my company or maybe for my PC. I wanted to use my personal account and I wanted to sync all my OneDrive, my desktop settings and my wallpaper, all of that stuff to my OneDrive, which is not possible with Enterprise Edition. So make sure that if you're choosing Enterprise Edition, meaning you are indirectly choosing two options. One would be the either you're going to use the PC to join into domain or work as a local account. Another one would be the online account, which only can work with the online account type would be either school account or college account or university account or whatever the account, or a company's account, not your personal account. That's what I wanted to say here with the Enterprise Edition. Okay. So that's why I wanted to show you here for the professional, because we will be doing some of the things with the professional also. So I would be going with the Windows 11 Professional Edition so that you could actually experience the home experience also with the enterprise experience also. So I'll just click on Windows 11 Pro, click on next, and this is where you get the option. Of course, here you need to just accept the license terms and conditions. And then you have an option for Windows Upgrade or Windows 11. When you choose a Windows 11 upgrade from 10 to upgrade, then what happens is it actually, if you have already built, it gets upgraded. But in case if you choose a custom, meaning you can create your custom partitions to install. If you don't choose any partition, it simply install operating system along with the required partitions would be created. So in my case, there's only one disk. That's why I've chosen that so that everything gets created for a single drive, which is a C, and the remaining partitions will be created like recovery, all of that partitions. The operating system gets installed with the ready files 1 to 100, and then quickly installing features, updates, boom, then it's going to restart the machine. And once the machine gets restarted, we will have this out-of-box experience. Let's say you bought a new Windows 10 machine from maybe a store, maybe you got a new PC given by your company. This is what the experience which comes. So when you start your Windows for the first time, you'll have this Windows experience. So this is obviously a common, simple to answer these questions. For example, here you could choose your region directly by clicking a proper region name and yes, and then followed with the keyboard layout. You could choose the keyboard layout, how it looks like. And then if you would like to add multiple keyboard layouts, you could feel free to add here by choosing add layout. But in my case, there's no additional layout necessity, so I'm gonna skip it. And in this screen, basically you would be getting in case if you If you're not using cable-based internet, that's RJ45 cable-based internet, and you just have a Wi-Fi, then you must have to choose your Wi-Fi connection, and you might have to enter by prompting the password so that it gets the necessary access to the internet. You'll not be able to set up your Windows 11 computer unless you have a connection to the internet. So with that in mind, let's just skip forward and see this screen. Within the screen, so you will be prompted to enter a computer name. So on this screen you need to give the computer name, otherwise you can skip it, so that it gets randomly a computer name will be assigned. So this cannot have spaces or special characters for a computer name, because this is not supported, the special characters, and you really shouldn't spend too much time here. Definitely don't overthink it, and this is just a unique name of your computer that people will see if they are connecting to your computer over the internet or over the network. Mostly it would be the network, because over the internet we don't distribute the computer names, right? So I will just put it here. For example, computer name as a Paddy, that's my computer name, and then I'll just click on next, and this would actually go to the next screen where I need to choose what type of account to be used to log into this computer. So if I just wait for a few more minutes, it will show up a screen where I need to choose the either Microsoft Online account or a simple local account, which will be used to log into the computer. In fact, I've already explained about the local computer account and the online account, what it is, in the other lecture. Please do check out that. But with the most editions of Windows 11, this is the first time that you need to know, you need to use a Microsoft Online account. This is what I said even initially when we are trying to choose a Windows 10 or Windows 11 edition. Very clearly that with the Windows Enterprise Edition you don't see these things. That's a set up a personal account, you don't see. Instead you will only have the online account for work or school based account, meaning in this place you need to actually enter your company's email ID. That's how it's going to work for work or school. But in case if you're choosing this PC as a personal PC, then yeah, you need to choose as a personal use case, right? If it is a work space, work or school base, then you would be choosing this, and you would be entering the email ID and the password of your company's email ID or your school or college or university details here. That will be treated as your logon user ID and password. So every time you need to use that, of course you do have an option to set a pin instead of every time to enter the user ID and password, which we are going to do it in a couple of minutes. But in my case, I would like to choose this PC for my personal use, so I would simply choose personal use case and click on next, and this is where it will prompt to give you a Microsoft Online account. So that's called a Microsoft Services to Access. For example, Microsoft Office or OneDrive or Edge or anything, these kind of services, anything to do, you need to have something called Microsoft account. So the Microsoft account, if you don't have, you can click on here to create it. Let's say I have a normal email ID, let's say Gmail ID or maybe Yahoo ID, email ID. So I could enter that here and click on try to simply, for example, here I do have a Microsoft account. When it's a Microsoft account, it's an Outlook account, okay, but it's not associated or treated as a Microsoft account. So there is a difference between Microsoft account and Outlook account. Outlook owns again from a Microsoft side, right? But the thing is, you need to sign up for online services. So you could even sign up here with my Gmail account or my AOL or maybe Yahoo or whatever the account you have email ID, you could actually use that. But if I try to directly use it, it's not going to work. It says that, hey, you don't have account called Microsoft account. Since you do not have, you can create a one here. So what I'll do is I'll simply click on here, create one. I would be using the same email ID. I would like to show you here. So this is the email ID. Okay, looks like you don't have an account with us. We will create one for using Microsoft account with this email ID. So here, if I enter Gmail or Yahoo account also, it works basically. So click on next. That's gonna prompt to enter the password. So this is the additional password. It's not same as your Gmail or any other account password. So I would be entering here and my first name and all of this stuff. So let's take this as a random. Once I have chosen here the date of birth, all of that, click on next, and this is where the additional security information it will prompt. So I'll just give here additional account. So this is already the same account, so I'll just enter another account called Hotmail account. So this is where it's gonna send the code kind of information. So this is how you could actually create a Microsoft account. So it's gonna just validate in a couple of minutes. So now this is where the PIN. So PIN is an alternative to your password. So you don't need to enter every time the more complex password. Instead, you can use the PIN. This way, the security is more focused to increase your security for accessing any kind of applications. So let's say creating a pin. So here you also have the option for a simple pin. Let's say if I put it like 1 2 3 4, that's a very simple pin, right? So I don't want that to be configured. So in that case, you could include letters and symbols. So this makes the more complex pin. So in my case, I'm just giving a simple pin, not the 1 2 3, but it's again a different 4-digit pin which I'm entering. So this is going to store in my Microsoft account for this pin will be associated with this computer. So I could use to log in to this computer with that pin or with that email account. So all of these are the privacy settings. Make sure that you read it. For example, location. So all the time Microsoft will their applications will request your location information. If you're okay, you can do that. Even finding a computer, very similar to find your iPhone or Google phone. Similar thing, sending the diagnostic information, inking and typing experience, and tailoring experience, and advertisements. So with this, the Google, how they use the Chrome based advertisement, similarly Windows also will use the advertising information will be collected. So this is the privacy concerns, and followed by let's customize your experience. What kind of things you would like to use it here. For example, entertainment, you want to use this device, or gaming, or school, or creativity, business. So all of that you could choose it and say accept it, and this way the required features gets installed or will be enabled based on our selection. This is one other advantage by having the Microsoft Online account. So when you have a Microsoft account, your computer gets backed up to OneDrive. So this is a Microsoft OneDrive, which in this case your desktops, your files, or your My Documents, everything can be stored into OneDrive. If you're okay, you can choose. Otherwise, simply save this to only this PC. But why not by taking the full advantage of OneDrive by going into online account, right? So we would click on next so that it gets backed up everything to OneDrive. So we will have the configuration automatically configured with our Microsoft account, and it gets done. So access granted, we are giving you a free trial for Windows for within this the Office applications also as a product key. So just say continue. This is gonna gives the 1 TB of my OneDrive in case if I have go through this trial period. Later point it will be charged. So in my case, I don't want to go for it offer, so I'll say simply decline. I'll continue further, but just in case if you're really interested, you could do it. So since I've taken multiple experience like media, media player or games kind of things. So all these are getting prompted. Not all of these things might not be prompting for you. So I'm just skipping this Xbox experience. Boom, this will take a few minutes to land it to logon page or to the desktop. And this is where the start button you also have here in the left side. You could sign out, sign in, or you could shut down or restart. All of that features are available. Along with that, all the applications you could view from by going here. There's a latest start experience, and the settings, all of that is literally changed a lot, but it gives more good experience for Windows 11 users. And I would like to stop it here, and we'll continue further with other lectures from here on. I hope this lecture is useful for you. Thank you for watching this.